Welcome back. We are going to be reading Wooden Willie. I'm Miss Debbie and I'm from Cox CSP. So let's get started on part 4. And before I start, I want to show you my toys that I have. This is a nice selection of children. These are real children and they made dolls. They're little rascals. So take a look at those while I'm reading, because some of these pages have no pictures. Okay, here we go. Here, Wooden Willie, you asked those children over there to go to the ice cream parlor and buy them each an ice cream cone or a wooden soda. Wooden Willie took a handful of wooden nickels and ran to the children in the corner. Beloved Belinda and Uncle Clem watched as the wooden children followed Wooden Willie to the ice cream parlor. We might as well sit on the curb and wait for him, said Uncle Clem. Now remember, they can't go in the ice cream parlor because that's where the guard is. Uncle Clem and Beloved Belinda were waiting only a few minutes when they heard, "Here they are!" cried the voice behind him, and walked up was a wooden guard and 5 or 6 wooden soldiers. "I left them locked up in jail," said the wooden guard, "and here they are." Uncle Clem and Beloved Belinda had no time to run from the soldiers. They caught him and pulled him down towards the king's palace. A great crowd of wooden people followed him, and Uncle Clem managed to get one hand in his pocket and pull out a lot of nickels. He handed the wooden nickels to the boy and said, "Please go to the ice cream parlor. Buy yourself a wooden ice cream soda and be sure to tell Wooden Willie to follow us to the king's palace." The little wooden boy took the wooden nickels and raced down towards the ice cream parlor. "Just so we don't lose Wooden Willie," said Uncle Clem. "Oh, that's a good idea. Let him know where you're going." Okay, now here is the next pictures. And here is a picture of the Wooden King. Here's Beloved Belinda and Uncle Clem. Okay, I'm going to put it down so I can read it better. The wooden guard and the wooden soldiers took Beloved Belinda and Uncle Clem to the king's palace and into the large room where the king sat, carved on his throne. "Here are those strange creatures that knocked over the queen's carriage when they were riding on their wooden pony," said the guard as he pushed Uncle Clem before the king. Oh my, they're in trouble now. Okay, no pictures on this page. "What sort of creatures are they?" said the king. He was a funny-looking king with a long beard and a crown much too large for his head. "I've never seen any people like these before," said the king. "Call my wise men and ask them who they are." One of the wooden soldiers went out and returned with the wise men. Each wise man carried a wooden book in his left hand and wore wooden spectacles, those are glasses, on his nose. "Tell me who these strange creatures are, wise men," said the wooden king, waving his hand towards Beloved Belinda and Uncle Clem. "We have never seen any creatures like this before," the wise men answered all together. "I know that," said the wooden king, "but tell me who they are." The 4 wise men pretended to be reading from their wooden books, but Beloved Belinda and Uncle Clem saw that the wooden books had been carved closed, so of course the wise men could not read at all. "We don't know," the wise men answered at last. "Well, take them to the buzzsaw," said the king. So the wooden guard and the wooden soldiers started to drag Uncle Clem and Beloved Belinda away. "Whoa!" the wooden king cried. "Where are you going, wooden guard?" "Well, you said to take him to the buzzsaw," said the wooden guard. His red paint was turning pale on his face. "Silly," said the wooden king. "I meant take the foolish wise men to the buzzsaw." "Why do you want to take him to the buzzsaw, Mr. King?" said Beloved Belinda. "Because the wooden king said, they can't tell me who you are. The buzzsaw is going to take their heads off." "Dear me, Mr. Wooden King, I wouldn't do that," said Beloved Belinda. "Then what do you suggest?" said the king. "Why don't you have them repainted so they don't look so wise?" Beloved Belinda said. "You know," she went on, "people look very, very wise are not always wise, so repaint them. If you have the wise men changed to look like ordinary people, perhaps they will be wiser." That's a very good idea, said the king. So he ordered the wooden wise men to run down and have themselves repainted. And if you come back looking wise, I shall know how foolish you really are. Then the wooden king asked beloved Belinda who she and Uncle Clem were. And when she told him, and he had said he was very, very sorry that they upset the queen's carriage, the wooden king said, it really does not make much difference. You see, the wooden queen has to be returned to the factory where she was made, the same place where the regular people are recarved. She will have 5 or 6 days there. She'll be refinished, and her carriage will be repainted and all fixed up before she returns. Well, Your Majesty, we haven't anything to eat since we've been in Wooden Town, said Uncle Clem. The food in the jail is all wooden, and we can't eat that. I'm sorry, the wooden king said, but the only kind of food we have here is wood. Maybe you'd be better going to the next country. Perhaps you can find something to eat there. Beloved Belinda and Uncle Clem thanked the king, shook his hand and the wooden guards, and hurried out to find Wooden Willie. They ran down the street towards the ice cream parlor. Before they had gone far, they met him running towards them. Okay, here we are. I wonder if we should give Wooden Willie some to a nice wooden man or lady, said Uncle Clem. Maybe he will get homesick if he goes with us. Let's ask Wooden Willie if he wants to stay in Wooden Town, said Uncle Clem. I won't be homesick, Wooden Willie promised the dolls. I'd like to go with you and beloved Belinda. When the friends had walked about a mile from Wooden Town, Uncle Clem suddenly stopped, ran his hair through his yarn hair. I just happened to think, he said. We can't take Wooden Willie with us after all. Wooden Willie, you're going to have to run back home. But he has no home, said beloved Belinda. Wooden Willie started to cry, and the kind-hearted beloved Belinda wiped his tears from his face with the corner of her apron. Why did you say he has to go back to Wooden Town, Uncle Clem? Because, said Uncle Clem, if we take him with us, he will starve. He has to eat wooden food, you know. The only place to get wooden food is in Wooden Town. So here we're going to stop, okay? Thank you. See you next time.